If you were to ask me, is there one key element to achieving the things that you want, I would say, yes, there is. Let's talk about that today. Let's talk about the number one basic. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. And today we're going to take a trip back to basic land. I listened to one of my favorite pundits, Jim Rohn, and you know what? It's always a good idea to go back to basics because we tend to meander and complicate things when things are very, very simple. So put your ear to the keyhole and join Eli and me as we talk today about the number one basic in terms of achieving your goals. What's the number one basic? Well, and once again, we're going to get a lot of help today from Jim Rohn, who is just one of the all-time great pioneers, mentors of our day. The number one basic is found in the Bible. And here, let me read from the Bible. Ask. That's it. Ask. What's the whole thing? Ask and you shall receive. Now, what does that mean? It means, what do you want? So what's the full formula? Ask and you shall receive. We ought to look into that, so why don't we? Why don't people ask? You know why? Because they're too busy. I'm on my way home. I got to go watch television. I'm cooking dinner. I'm doing that. How long does it take to ask? The real reason that people don't ask is not because of time. It's because they've not yet identified their purpose, their identity, their objective. So if you don't know what it is you're asking for, how are you ever going to achieve it? You've got to be a good asker. And to be a good asker, there are three key points. Asking is the beginning of receiving. When you ask, you're starting the unique process of singleness of purpose. And once you push that button, all of these great things start to happen because you start to relate the things around you to that specific purpose. You start to see things that will move your cause forward. You know what's strange about this? All of these things have been right in front of you all along, but until you identify your purpose, they're mere background. They're just filler in your sight lines, in your thought lines. Don't worry about why this works. It just does. As Mr. Rohn tells us, some people study the roots, and some people pick the fruit. It depends on what end of it you want in on. Asking is the beginning of receiving, so get the process going. Second, receiving is not a problem. Receiving is automatic. If receiving is not the problem, then what's the problem? Failure to ask. Do you have your goals written down on paper? Why is that so important? I know you hear everybody say that. Write them down. Write down your goals. Why is it important? Because when you write something down, it forces you to turn your thoughts into something more coherent and specific. What you're looking for is coherent specificity. Third, receiving is like the ocean. There's plenty to go around. Success does not need to be rationed because it's not in short supply. It's like the ocean. Now, if that's true, what's the issue preventing our achievement? The issue is this. Most people go to this ocean with a paper cup. Now, you got to at least bring a bucket. All right, you get the point? You got to ask for some. You have to have a sizable objective. The ocean has virtually a limitless supply of water. You see, Eli, you've got to ask with intelligence. The Bible didn't say ask intelligently, but that's the implication. Don't whisper or mumble when you ask. Be clear. Be specific. Intelligent asking means how wide, how high, how soon, what size, what color, how much. In other words, you must define with specificity exactly what you want and describe what you want. Now, Anthony Robbins, who's perhaps Jim Rohn's most famous pupil, yes, Jim Rohn was Tony Robbins' mentor, helps us. One of the stories he likes to say is that he'll talk to somebody and they'll say, so tell me, what is it you want? And invariably, a lot of people will say, I want more money. So Tony Robbins takes $1 out of his wallet and says, here's $1, get out of here. What's wrong with that? There's no specificity to the vision. I want more money. Great, here's $0.25, see ya. You have to have an exact picture of what it is that you want. And in that way, you can identify it much more clearly. And once again, then the things that are around you will start to relate to what it is that you want. The more senses that you employ in your description, the easier the process becomes because you know what you're looking for. You'll know it when you see it, and you'll be able to more easily identify the correct road to use to reach your destination. You'll also know more easily when you're traveling on the wrong road, and you'll be able to reset your GPS, your positioning system, more easily when you're traveling on the wrong road, so that you can reach your objective. You see, once you do these things, once you write it down, once you visualize, once you have specificity, once you involve all of your senses, your goals become like a magnet. They pull you in the right direction. And the better you envision and describe them, the more magnetic they become. So be sure to envision with surround sound and Technicolor, and to ask intelligently. And, drum roll please, you must ask with childlike faith. You must believe that you can get what you want the same way that a child believes. If you want to add logic to this concept, ask yourself, why were you given the power to imagine? And why were you given this power at such a tender young age? Why were we given this power before we were given the power of logic? Perhaps it was because we are to utilize this skill and to enhance it. Bottom line, make plans like an adult and believe in them like a child. Repetitive visualizing on a daily basis, 2 to 3 times a day, will give you this power. Now, because you're an adult, I know that encouraging you to use this process will be easier if I may offer you some proof that it works with certainty, that it is a tried and true formula. Well, here's some proof. The best-selling personal development book of all times is Think and Grow Rich. And why is that the case? Because the blueprint that it contains has received rave reviews that continuously bring results. Why again? Because the author, Napoleon Hill, asked 500 or so people that were the most successful people at that time when he wrote the book, what formula that they used to achieve their objectives. Now, when he did this, he expected to receive as many different success formulas as there were people that he was asking. Instead, here's what he found. He found that basically they all used the same formula. Ask and you shall receive. He could not necessarily find a logical reason why this formula was tried and true. He emphasized that when you use this formula, you become endowed with a sixth sense. This sixth sense helps you to unfold data into its proper order, to receive mind flashes, also known as intuitive inspirations, and many times to encounter situations that you could not predict or plan that will assist you to move your cause forward. It is the method used by the infinite mind to allow us to reach our goals. And because it is a law of nature, it does not make judgments about what's good or what's evil. It's just a law, like gravity, that's constant, that's reliable, and that acts without prejudice. Sometimes it's important to know why something works. And other times it's wise to just turn the key and start the car's engine without automotive expertise. If you know that there are working horses under the hood, step on the gas and keep your eyes on the road. Just passionately ask for what you want, because the formula is timeless and simple. Our thought for the day is also from Jim Rohn, and I quote, "If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse." And because we will never end our meeting with an excuse, we will always move forward and get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.